How's it going? It's been a long time since I made a video, and hopefully this gets posted to YouTube. I just haven't. Well, there were videos that I made, shortly after I started making a vlog and other videos on YouTube, but I just didn't get to finishing them. And I made a post recently on Instagram stating that, I would explain why I haven't been making videos. And it's been almost a year and a half. And in the fall of 2016, which is when I started posting to YouTube, I started having some extreme exhaustion, a lot of weakness. I mean, even walking up the stairs was becoming pretty taxing. If I was bending over in a position, where I was trying to hold up my upper body with my core, I was trembling, getting really shaky, becoming really sensitive to heat, and definitely in last year, it even got worse. In all cases, it was a hot summer, and I became even more sensitive to heat, profusely sweating all the time. And in the fall of 2017, people started telling me, hey, you need to go to the doctor and, get things checked out, because you shouldn't be shaking like that, and you shouldn't feel like that. I think something's wrong. And being who I am, and I think a lot of guys are like this, I just said, no, I'm fine, and just tired, and I need to eat more, and having too much coffee, and all those things are the case too. But in January of this year, I think it was actually shortly after New Year's, or maybe even around Thanksgiving, but sometime between 2017 and the beginning of 2018, I noticed my neck was extremely swollen below my Adam's apple, and it was so much so that when I would rotate my head upward and around, it was actually sore, and it was very red, and my symptoms had gotten worse. I just felt overall more stressed. I was just having heart palpitations and things like that. And so I finally gave in and decided, I should probably get this checked out, because this is definitely not right. And so I got a blood test, and after that blood test, my doctor called me and told me that I have high thyroid levels, and that it was most likely that I had hyperthyroidism, and referred me to an endocrinologist. And I do have hyperthyroidism, and I began taking medication for that in about the beginning of February of this year. And my first visit with my endocrinologist, my blood pressure was about 155/80, which is pretty high. And even now, my blood pressure is around 140 at times, and other times it's better. But my heart rate is still pretty fast, and I've been monitoring that because I got a new phone that actually has the capability of doing that. And just a few weeks ago, I found out that I have Graves' disease, which is, well, I don't actually really know fully what it is, but it oftentimes triggers hyperthyroidism. There's, it affects your memory. In general, for me, I don't feel like it affects me too much, but I don't know how long that I've had it. I know, at least with the hyperthyroidism, and I was very hyperthyroid, You know, in general, they have a scale, you know, from 0 to 10, and 10 you're probably going to be in the emergency room, and I was about at a 9. And overall my thyroid levels have gotten down to a 3.5, and I want to be at around 1.5. So things have been going good, and I've been taking other supplements and natural tinctures and things like that that are supposed to help with inhibiting my thyroid from producing too much, you know, because your thyroid controls your metabolism. So basically, if your body's producing a whole bunch of thyroid hormones, it's just telling your body like to run on overdrive constantly, full speed, 24/7. And so it can really wear you out, and if all of a sudden your thyroid produces so much, it can actually you know, you end up just having a heart attack and you can die. I mean, if I suddenly stop taking my medication, you know, and I all of a sudden started producing a whole bunch of thyroid hormones again, more than I am now, you know, that could be the case. It's that extreme. So, in addition to that, you know, I had a kid in the beginning of November of 2016, and so it's been a while since we've had a baby around and had another little guy to take care of, and it's a lot of work. It's rewarding and love him to death, but it is a lot of work, and it's definitely a restructuring of things. And you know, just in general on a farm, like there's a lot of things sitting around that weren't necessarily safe, and you know, I still have to work on that and make sure I'm not like forgetting a harvesting knife out in the field or something like that, because my memory has definitely been affected. I mean, my wife tells me that she's told me certain things numerous times, and either she's making it up or I just really forget that much that I have no recollection of it whatsoever. But I'm getting better, and hopefully, you know, it can get to the point where I stop taking the medication that I'm taking from my endocrinologist and get it to the point where maybe I could just be taking the supplements and regulating my thyroid in that way. You know, things can also even out so that my thyroid just consistently gets in the groove of being normal again. But in terms that my endocrinologist has told me that that's really not likely, that it's very likely there's like a 20% chance that things could go back to normal and stay that way, but it's more likely that I will have to keep having issues with my thyroid, and ultimately it's more safe for me to end up having my thyroid removed rather than taking the medication that I'm taking for a long period of time. And I'm taking other supplements that just replenish certain nutrients and minerals that are lost in taking this medication. It's called methimazole. It's relatively safe. When I first started taking it, it was within 3 or 4 weeks I just started breaking out in hives all over my body. My hands swelled up, my feet swelled up, and I ended up stopping the medication. And after stopping, like I said earlier, like you can have worse symptoms because then your thyroid is producing all of those hormones again that it was, and it was like having the flu. There were body aches, chills, like it was like I've never taken hard drugs that I would, have to detox from it or anything like that, but I imagine that was a taste of what that would be like. But I was able to start taking it slowly, and still had itching and things like that, but now I've just consistently taken it for the past 2 months. I take 2 pills a day. The max dose that I was taking before was 3 pills a day. But in general, it's been a challenge, and it's, even recently I've had family, pass away because they weren't taking care of themselves, or they weren't, being proactive about health situations that they had. I had a great uncle who recently was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer about a month ago, and within 2 weeks he died because, he didn't do anything soon enough. He wasn't feeling well, and, just didn't let people know how bad that he was feeling. And, I have those traits in my personality as well, and it's definitely not good traits to keep up, and it's bad habits. I'm not big on going to the doctor, when I got the blood test, that was probably the first time that I'd actually gone to the doctor to look into any aspect of my health in probably close to 10 years. Other times that I've gotten strep throat or something like that, I've just dealt with it and, stuck to myself. But, so, it's important, and I just want to put it out there that, if you have anything or other things that people are noticing about you that seem off, you should get it checked out. You just should, because, if I would have let it gone further, it could have been very detrimental to my health. And, just being outside and working in 90-degree weather, and the, amount of perspiration that I was having, and heart palpitations, blood pressure, and everything like that, I could have seriously hurt myself. And not just like short-term thing, for long-term. And it's important to take care of yourself. And even if you think that you're taking care of yourself, it's always good to take the advice of family members and friends that think maybe you need to take a little bit better care of yourself. So that's what's been going on for the last year and a half, and there's a lot more detail in between and out that I probably forgot. But I do want to start making videos again when I have the time, because even right now it's a Friday and it poured down rain earlier, and I've got a bunch of stuff to harvest still and wash, but I didn't sleep too much last night, and it's been really hot and humid the past couple days, so I've been trying to not be out in that too much, even though it's not affecting me too much. Like, I can tell, just as anyone would, that being out in the heat for prolonged periods of time and looking at the future forecast that it's going to be in the 90s, I need to limit my time out in the heat. But, yeah. Until next time.